Well, hello there. Today we're talking about a key ingredient in many HPO products, our very own alfalfa meal. This bright green powerhouse is used in our soils and in our herb superb crop dressings. And it's also, as you can see, available as an individual amendment for those who like to experiment. So here's the thing, not all alfalfa meal is created equal. So let me take you through a little bit of what makes HPO's alfalfa meal different from, well, your average chaff. Now what you'll find is that most alfalfa in Australia is field dried after harvest. This is fine if your intended use is for animal consumption, but if you're trying to maximise the availability of the bioactive compounds like treacontanol, this is less than ideal, especially in a climate as extreme as Australia's. The other problem that we've found is that after this, a lot of alfalfa is then stored for extensive periods of time, which allows for oxidization of these compounds to further occur. And then after this, when it's ground to a finer powder for use in soil, this introduces a lot of heat to the process, which further denatures kind of whatever is left in there. The result of this is that yes, you do end up with some nutrition, some protein, some fibre and things like that, all of which are great if the intended use is for animal feed. But the extra benefits that you get from using alfalfa, such as treacontanol, have all but been evaporated out of the process. So, how do we get around this? What have we done to achieve a better quality alfalfa that's more effective on plants? Now, what we do differently is multi-step. We buy direct from the farm that produces the alfalfa. After this, we process it as immediately close to harvest as possible, which allows us to start with a higher concentration of the bioactives to begin with. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting, because over the last few years we've built and invested in proprietary equipment, which is actually pharmaceutical grade and temperature controlled, so we can control the temperature of the grinding process throughout the whole procedure. This allows us to keep it cool, not introduce heat which would denature the treacontanol, and achieve a better quality, better graded product at the end. The result of this is higher amino acid content, more bioactive compounds that are useful to your plants, and more nutrients left in the available stuff at the end. Now, with regard to nutrient content, we've actually had it third-party analysed through a leading Australian lab, and they've shown the following figures here. Nitrogen is at 3.40%, phosphorus is at 0.28%, potassium at 3.42%, with a pH of 5.5 and a total organic carbon content of 42.79. The carbon to nitrogen ratio of it is 12.59. So what this means is that the nitrogen is available in a more steady release than something like blood meal, which has a lower carbon content. This well-balanced nutrient profile makes it widely usable on a wide variety of crops. With a gradual release, it's a tremendous soil builder. Now, with regard to the coarseness of the material, the coarser alfalfa is, the more microbial action is required for it to be broken down. This means that it takes longer for your soil to break it down. We've found that a good grading is to have a maximum particle size of 3 millimeters and grade that down to quite a fine powder actually. What this provides is a longer release with the 3 mil particles, and the finer particles allow for a quite ferocious microbe bloom to occur. Because it's so well graded, this makes a very predictable and good ingredient for building your soils, and it supports beneficial microbial activity. It's a gentle fertiliser. The slow release nitrogen won't burn your plants, so suitable for things that may be a bit more sensitive. And it's especially suitable for fast growing annual plants like, well, you know. Now, if you'd like to experiment with building your own sort of fertilisers for things, alfalfa is a great base tool or a building block to use. If you are, for instance, after something that suits vegetative growth or leafy growth in plants, a fantastic combination is blood meal and alfalfa meal. Now, the alfalfa's carbon content will sort of more slow down and titrate the release of the nitrogen from the blood meal, and you'll end up with a balanced fertiliser with a bit of a bump of nitrogen there. If you're after something that more suits flowering plants, a great combination is alfalfa meal and coconut meal. This gives you a bump in potassium. It keeps the phosphorus at a definitely very mycorrhizal safe level, and with a moderate nitrogen content, which is suitable for flowering plants and fruiting plants. Very basic fertilizers, very basic combinations, but something that you can use on a wide variety of crops. So if you are building a new soil, re-amending a soil, or dealing with some heavy feeding plants, if you're brewing a compost tea, or just trying to boost your overall microbial life, alfalfa meal is a tremendous way to do it. And we think this is a world-class alfalfa that we're making here. Now, we believe you deserve the best, your plants deserve the best, so grow with the best. Grab yourself a bag of cold ground alfalfa meal from either our online store or select HPO retailers. It's available now.